Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the SSE Arena, Wembley, here in London, England, for the official weigh-in for Saturday night's historic world title triple header taking place on Saturday night. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by William Hill, Wow Hydrate, Lannistar, AO.com, and JD Sports. Now, all the action will be televised live around the world, here in the UK, of course, on Sky Sports, and streamed across America on DAZN. It's an incredible fight card. We've got 6 fights, 3 world title fights, so we're going to go ahead and get started, bringing up the fighters so they can face the scale and face each other. Our first contest, 8 rounds in the light heavyweight division. Let's please welcome up our charge from Bradford, Jermaine Showtime Springer.
Boris Crichton, his only loss, was caught.
Gentlemen, we are set to go with our next weigh-in for the evening, and we're going to go ahead and bring them up right now. It's 10 rounds for the WBA Bantamweight Continental Championship. Introducing up first to the stage, 20 victories, 5 defeats, 1 draw, 6 wins coming by way of knockout. Desde Altamirana, Guerrero, Mexico, here is the former WBC Fekum Box and Mexican Bantamweight Champion. Please welcome Angel Puma Aviles.
events in boxing, a number of cancellations, but he is here just 24 hours away now from fight night. Prodigious talent.
8 stone 5 pounds for Cash Farouk. 8 stone 5 pounds for the untouchable Cash Farouk.
Yeah, Villes came in a couple of pounds over, but I think that's been agreed. So there's a £3 difference between them, but Cash Farouk looks in tremendous shape, and he is ready as ready can be for tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone out there more ready than Cash Farouk. I wish him all the best, and he'll get tested here. He'll definitely get some rounds in the bank, which I'm looking forward to seeing more of Cash, because last time against McGregor, it was a brilliant fight.
Villes 10 rounds for the WBA Bantamweight Continental Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited to announce this next weigh-in. It's a great cracking fight and could be the sleeper on the cards. Let's go ahead and bring these fighters up to the stage. 10 rounds for the British super middleweight title eliminator. Introducing up first, 18, 2-1, 9 knockouts, fighting out of Little Lever. He's the former English middleweight champion, Jack Little Lever's Meat Cleaver Cullen.
Seen that great ding-dong with Felix Cash in November last year, about a year ago. Came up second best, was stopped in the 8th round there. Moved up to super middleweight, but hasn't really taken full advantage on the scales.
11-13-7 for Jack Cullen, 11-13-7.
But he has squeezed every last pound out of this one. That's about 167 pounds there, so that's
and
more
now,
like
ladies and gentlemen, his opponent making his way to the stage, undefeated thus far as a professional. 9 fights, 9 victories, 7 of them coming by way of knockout. Here is the hard-hitting southpaw, fighting out of Montrose. He's the fighting pride of Scotland. Ladies and gentlemen, John, the Doc Doherty.
You can, you know, look, sometimes fighters have excuses. They have reasons why they believe that they got beaten. With Jack Cullen losing to Felix Cash, I know Felix Cash is a very good fighter, great fighter, but how Cullen made middleweight, I do not know. Honestly, he's an absolute giant.
Well, John Doherty's a big lad, super middleweight, very, very big lad, and we'll see the difference in height there between the two of them when they do come face to face.
11 stone 12-9 for John Doherty, 11-12-9.
Again, Doherty just a couple of pounds inside there. He said he's been making the weight a little bit better than in the early days, and he certainly looks better on the scales. Just to draw on the first sort of 3 or 4 fights, well, I think he was getting used to that little calorie depletion process and playing around with his body and seeing what worked for him. But now he's making that weight and he's looking fuller and fresher than he did, which is a good sign.
Yeah, Tony Sims, he's always on you about your weight. You know, he's always monitoring it. He doesn't leave you to it. You know, he gets on the case. He makes sure that you're doing it properly, and that's probably, you know, that professionalism that Tony's installing into
Doherty v. Cullen, Scotland v. England, 10 rounds for the British super middleweight title eliminator. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to weigh in the first of our 3 female world title championship bouts for Saturday night. This is 10 rounds for the WBC Super Bantamweight Interim World Championship. Making her way to the stage at this time, 9 victories, 1 defeat, 2 draws, 1 win coming by way of knockout. She's the IBF Super Flyweight Champion of the World, presentando de Necochea, Buenos Aires, Argentina, Jorgelina J. Guanini. 8-13-7 for Guanini. 8-13-7 for Guanini. And her opponent making her way up to the stage at this time. 6 victories, 1 defeat. She's the 3-time world kickboxing champion, fighting out of Aldridge, England. Ladies and gentlemen, Rachel Ball.
A really good performance against Shannon Courtney has provided her with this opportunity. As you heard, the WBA belt no longer on the line. This is now the WBC interim super bantamweight title. Jorgelina Granini just struggled to make the weight, was a late notice opponent. So I think the agreed limit is that she's got to be within 4 or 5 pounds of Rachel Ball, but she's not eligible to win this title on Saturday night. Rachel Ball, if she makes weight, will be
8'9" for Rachel Ball, 8 stone, 9 pounds, 9 ounces, Rachel Ball.
And she is inside the 8 stone 10 limit, 121 pounds that equates to, for those of you watching stateside. So she will be eligible to win the WBC interim title. The full champion is Granini's countrywoman Yamaleth Mercado, who's 16-2, knocked out Israel Reyes in September. The same weekend we were in Munich for Breeders and Dorticos. That was a good weekend. But these two will get it on Saturday night. Big height and reach advantage for Rachel Ball.
Ball v. Granini, 10 rounds for the WBC Super Bantamweight Interim World Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in the chief support for our huge card on Saturday night. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing, and this bout is in association with Team Sauerland. 10 rounds for the WBC and IBO Super Featherweight Championships of the world. Introducing up first to the stage, she is undefeated as a professional, 13 victories, no losses, 2 wins coming by way of knockout. She fights out of Spain by way of Oslo, Norway. Introducing the European and interim WBC champion, Catherine Tenders.
Tenders formerly up at lightweight, where Rachel Ball came up and unsuccessfully challenged her. 134.5 pounds she was for that fight. 135 against Monica Gentili. That was a really good scrap. And then came down to super feather, 129.5 pounds against Daniela Ramos for her latest win.
(9-3-10) for Tenders. 9-3-10 for Tenders.
Scrapes in under the 9-4 limit, which is absolutely spot on. Nothing to spare. Now we just need Terry Harper to weigh in, hit the mark, and we have a title fight.
And possibly the fight of the night for me. I think if Terry Harper gets drawn into a fight that we know Tenders likes to do, she likes to get stuck in, I think this could be fight of the night, Chris.
Said to us yesterday she feels she'll be the physically stronger of the two. She had to
and now, ladies and gentlemen, making her way to the stage, undefeated also as a professional, 10 victories, no losses, 1 draw, 5 big wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Denby, England, here is the WBC and IBO Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Terry Belter Harper.
Very consistent with her weights, Terry Harper, as you'd expect from the champion, all coming in just under 130 pounds against Obernorth, Wallstrom and Jonas, 3 top-level opponents, and she gets in with a 4th, all in under 18 months. So she's been working on her strength and conditioning, looks very, very strong. So she looks physically stronger than even last time, Darren.
Yeah, she does. Looks in great shape.
9-3-5 for Terry Harper. 9-3-5 for Terry Harper.
That'll be a relief again that she's made that weight, made it well, looks physically strong, ready to defend her unified titles yet again. Michaela Meyer, of course, with a WBO belt newly acquired, and Maiva Hamadouche with the IBF too. Kyunmi Choi from South Korea with the WBA. Lots of really, really good fights to be made going forward for Terry Harper. And those are the two that are on the line, the IBO strap and the WBC. Kind of slight height and reach advantage perhaps for Terry Harper in the ring tomorrow night, and Tenders will be looking to close that gap.
Tenders, the chief support Saturday night, 10 rounds for the WBC and IBO Super Featherweight Championships of the world.
Really, really good fight, this.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in the main event for Saturday night's historic world title triple header. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of boxing scheduled for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. Introducing up first to the stage, she is undefeated as a professional. 13 victories, no defeats. She has 5 wins coming by way of knockout. She is the European and WBA interim lightweight champion, presentando de Torrejon de Ardoz, Madrid, Spain. Ladies and gentlemen, Miriam La Reina Gutierrez. Gutierrez. .986 for Gutierrez, 986 for Gutierrez, the challenger.
Perfect, just under the 9-stone line limit, 134.5 pounds that works out at. So one half of the main event weighed in, absolutely bang on.
And her opponent, the defending champion, now making her way to the stage. Also undefeated as a professional. 16 fights, 16 victories, 6 of them coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Bray, County Wicklow, Ireland. She is the 2012 Olympic gold medalist, the 2-division world champion, and the reigning, defending, undefeated, and undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Katie Taylor.
Well, she needs no introduction to boxing fans, Katie Taylor. Remove the doubts from that first Delphine Pursoon fight in New York over a year ago now, in one of the fights of Fight Camp just a few weeks ago, and already she's back ready to make her mandatory defence against Miriam Gutierrez. Last 3, she weighed in 134.5 pounds for first Pursoon fight, 139.5 against Christina Lenardotau, and then back to 134.25 for the second Pursoon fight, where she was considerably more clinical, Darren.
Yeah, 100%. When I look at this fight, Chris, just before David announces the weight.
9 stone 8, 7 ounces for Katie Taylor. 987 for Katie Taylor.
Perfect.
Yeah, bang on. The thing that springs to mind for me is tricky. This is a tricky task for Katie Taylor. Gutierrez is very slippery. She sort of sits back on the back foot. She tries to lure her opponents in. Like I said yesterday, apparently punches a lot harder than her record suggests. It's a tricky task, this.
Yeah, moves her head really well,
yeah.
She gets off the line well and will pose yet another set of questions. And as you rightly mentioned, Darren, when you are Katie Taylor, when you are that A-side top-level champion, everybody raises their game for you, because they know that they need to. So not only do you have to fight the top, you have to fight the best at their best too.
Well, look at what Eddie Hearn's holding. I mean, that says it all. There is no bigger fight for Gutierrez. This is huge. So
well, they look good, don't they?
They really do look good. But yeah, so expect Gutierrez to fight out of her skin.
Just looking at off camera, you won't be able to see the trainers on, but the trainers look about the same kind of size, so you can see that is a genuine height difference there. Gutierrez looks naturally the bigger of the two.
Taylor v. Gutierrez, 10 rounds for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. SSC Arena, London.
Eddie looked like he was struggling holding them belts there. It's like he had the mask on, or you would have seen the full facial expressions.
Yeah, they're heavy, those belts. Well, you know what one of those weighs, don't you? So imagine 4 of those, the Ring Magazine belt as well.
Yeah.
Got to be a beast to hang on to those. So there she is, another chapter of the Katie Saylor story ready to be written in 24 hours from now. Will she retain those belts? Will we see an upset? High stakes for her, as always. We'll be here tomorrow afternoon with Michelle Phelps, Joe McNally, and